Cool. All right. I'll get this show on the road. Look at the count. I got the countdown. That's good. Yeah.
Okay, you're live.
All right. The countdown is complete. This is Dr. David E. Clark with an E, Dr. Narc. As many of you know, thank you for showing up to our live stream tonight. It's a very exciting moment for us. This is the official launch of my brand new video series on parental alienation by the Narc. The Narcissist unmommed me, how to fight back and win your kids back. Look at this cover. Check this out, my friends. It is a thing of beauty. I had one dear lady, I think she's a grammarian, maybe an English teacher, and she said that unmommed me really should be MOMMED. Well, I didn't respond to her. She's a wonderful person, I'm sure, but it's not even a real word. Anyway, but you get the hint. The Narcissist unmommed me. And you can see how this lady's in full battle gear, because this course, which you can enroll in tonight, and if you do it by midnight tonight, my friends, you're saving $30. But if you enroll in this course, this is a war plan. This is a war, a vicious, all-out war for your kids. And she is decked out in full battle gear, and we're going to war. We've taken enough. Now, I say unmommed me. There are plenty of dads out there that you're married to a shrew, to a narc, just a skank, a horrible person, and she has turned your kids against you. Okay, no worries. All these principles are the same. If you're a man, if you have a male narc or a female narc, either way doesn't make any difference. Most of my phone advice clients and most of the people that buy my videos and books happen to be women. Is it my fault that women are drawn to me? I mean, I'm just kidding. It's just the way it is. It's the way God has blessed our ministry. But I talk to plenty of men too. So if you're a man and you've got a lady that's turned your kids against you, no worries. This video series is for you too. Now, I want to thank you as we get started here. I want to thank you for all of you who participated in the contest that gave me wonderful content for this video series. As always, your information is critically important to the work I do. You're living it, you've lived it, and so when I get your content, I put it into my books, into my videos, and it makes a tremendous difference. Thank you for that. And we selected 10 winners at random, and they have received their a free video series. Thank you so much for that. Also, before I forget, we've had a tremendous response also to my latest ebook, Codependent Hell, Goodbye Trauma Bond, Goodbye Narcissist. That's been a tremendous response to this as well. We're breaking these trauma bonds all over the United States, frankly, even over the world. It's an ebook. And so we're excited about that too. Our motto here at David E. Clark, PhD, Inc., Clark with an E, is more new products all the time, because that's how my mind works. I take a few days off after doing a series, and then I get another idea. I can't help it. All right. So again, this video series is only available on my website, davideclarkphd.com. That's Clark with an E. And if you enroll in this series tonight, by midnight, you're saving $30. Just say. Okay, so here's where we're going tonight. I'm going to check in and see who's coming in and what's going on. Oh, look, Michelle says, I've read almost all of your books. Michelle must be a happy and blessed woman. I'm just telling you. Can you imagine reading all of Dave Clark's books? And I want to tell you this too. I've got a whole bunch of books. I've written like 20, I think, 21. But many of them, the first part of my career, first 35 years of my career, were on serious marriage problems, but with not a narc in them. So if you know people that need those books, that can be helpful too. Yeah. All right. Very good for you. Oh, and this same lady filed for divorce this week. Good for you. There are marriages that need to end. And if you're married to a narc, that marriage needs to end. The church will say it doesn't have to. Your friends will say it doesn't have to. Dumb people in your family and neighbors and dumb people at church will say, no, you don't. They're not living the nightmare you're living. It needs to end. In fact, the marriage is already over. You're simply, the narc's destroyed it. You're formalizing what he's already done, or she. Okay. Joyce from Massachusetts. You're probably freezing to death, Joyce. What is the matter with you? Come down to Florida. I'm just telling you. People always say, well, we get the seasons. Yeah, sure you do. But it's winter. That's your problem. Anyway. Almost narc free. Good for you, Michelle. Yeah, you're going to make it. Yes, you are. Okay. Tonight I'm going to read parts of the introductory video to this, the Narcissist Unmom Me series, just so you can see what it's about. And then I'm going to, of course, I'm I'm going to cover very briefly the 9 critical mistakes to avoid. I've got a video for each one of the mistakes, but we'll cover that. And then, of course, I'll interact with you as we go along here. Okay? That is our plan. Very good. All right. This lady's mentioning the trauma bond here. Well, that's why I wrote Codependent Hell. Absolutely, to break that trauma bond. And just speaking of the trauma bond, this lady's mentioning, it doesn't go away when you divorce the dirtball. You should divorce the dirtball. God wants you to divorce the dirtball narc, the evil dirtball narc. But when you're trauma bonded, it does not solve that problem. So that's why I wrote Codependent Hell. You got to break that thing, or it will stay in you forever and transfer to your next relationship. So let me read what I've got here in this introduction. You'll get the flavor of it, and then keep your comments coming through. And and then I'll be interacting with you as we go along. We got some folks talking about alienation here. Yep. Ex-husband narcissist, brainwashed my 3 older children, haven't seen them. Yeah, that's exactly what happens. And we're going to do our best to fix that with this video series. The narc has abused you for years in a variety of nasty, destructive, painful ways. But as awful and traumatic as these behaviors are, nothing comes close to the narc turning your own precious children against you. And we're seeing stories of this coming through. And I got many of your stories, and they're in this video series. It is a hideously evil thing to do. It is the worst thing you can do to a parent, a mom or a dad. Parental alienation is one of the reasons I say the narc is demon possessed. I make no apology for saying that. That's an example of what I'm talking about. There is no other explanation for this kind of evil. Normal parents don't do this ever. Divorce is one thing. No, narcs alienate children. Truth is, the narc couldn't care less about your kids. He acts like father of the year when you're being divorced, and he wants to get the kids because he loves them so much. He couldn't care less about them. It's all about him. He's using those kids for these 5 purposes. 1, to make you suffer. No question about that. He knows losing your kids will cause you more pain and heartbreak than anything else. And he's caused you a lot of pain and heartbreak. He's not done yet. He wants to take your children. That will be a dagger to your heart. He knows that. 2, he wants to win. Narcs always want to win. And this is ultimate victory for him. He can say to everyone, especially after your divorce, when your kids hate you, and he'll say this, oh, look, her own kids hate her. What does that tell you? Well, he's turned them against you. He won't add that. Because narcs will often say, if they're accused of alienation, oh, no, I had nothing to do with it. Her own children, this is their idea. And he's trained the kids. And many of you ladies and men have heard this. Your own kid will say to you that dad had nothing, if the dad's the narc, dad had nothing to do with this, mom. If they even call you mom, this is my idea. It is not their idea. Anyway. 3, the narc wants to look good to others, absolutely, and always his main concern. He wants to be seen as a wonderful parent because that will play well in church, in your neighborhood, in the community. 4, to maintain control of those kids. He needs to have more influence on their lives than anyone else, including and especially you. And 5, to enjoy himself. Here's the real evil part. The narc loves every second of the alienation process. Absolutely loves it. He's done it for years. He's turning your kids against you. He's setting it up. And so when you do divorce him, he's got them. Of course, I've had plenty of cases where the mom, as a mom, you feel like, let's say you're a mom, you're connected to your kids and everything's good, but then you divorce him. And then even after the divorce, all of a sudden, he makes changes and wins them over. So it could go that way too. But most of the time, the narc has been working for years to turn your own children against you, to poison them with lies about you, to alienate them against you, to manipulate them to be completely on his side, to be loyal only to him. And the narc has succeeded. That's why I wrote this video series, The Narcissist, on Mom Me. He's gotten the job done. 1 or more of your kids, he's got them. Your children don't respect you. They dismiss you. They ignore you. They don't love you. They'll say that they hate you. They don't trust you. They believe you are a liar. They believe everything is your fault. They don't want to communicate with you. They don't want to spend time with you. They won't listen to you. They abuse you. The narc has brainwashed your children over a period typically of years behind your back. Of course, he'll abuse you in front of them, but often it's behind the scenes. The narc controls the minds of your children. They believe all his lies. They'll do whatever he tells them to do, like robots. They've learned from the master how to abuse you, and they start doing it. So, my friends, it's time to go to war to get your kids back. And this war is against the narc, of course. It's against Satan, the narc's master, who's really orchestrating the whole thing of parental alienation because he wants to make you suffer. If you know Jesus, he can't have your soul, but he can certainly put you through hell here on earth, and that's what he wants to do. You're at a war with your own kids. They are partly responsible for what's happening. You're at war with the idiots who side with the narc. There are these, it's beyond stupid, and it's evil in and of itself. And they're really abusers too. These idiot people who the narc is taking your kids from you, and they're still on his side, or they want to balance things. You leave them behind. You need to be choking in your fumes as you leave them behind. And of course, you're at war with the legal system, which is a joke. The good news is God is with you in this war. Listen to Psalm 144:1, which says, "Praise the Lord, who is my rock. He trains my hands for war and gives my fingers skill for battle." We are going to war against the narc. Now, let me explain who this video series is for. It's for moms and dads who have at least one child who has been turned against them by the narc. And again, I mentioned before, I'll speak in this series as if the narc is a man, but the narc could just as easily be a woman. Plenty of those out there. And these videos are for parents of kids of all ages. Now, most of my material is primarily focused on kids that are minors under 18, but I think that most of these videos also apply to an adult child who has been turned by the narc and it still hates you. And in my opinion, an adult child has even more responsibility. They know better and they don't care. Now, this series is for 4 scenarios. 1, you are still living with the narc and your kids and have not filed for divorce, and he's already turned them against you, your kids. 2, you are still living with the narc and your kids and you have filed for divorce. Very often I like to have the woman, if at all possible, leave when she files. Sometimes you cannot. And so you file, but you're still there with him. Or 3, you're physically separated from the narc and may or may not have filed for divorce, or in fact, you are divorced from the narc. Those are the 4 scenarios. And there are 3 goals for you in this video series. Let me cover those just briefly. The Narcissist Unmom Me. First, that you will be empowered, protected, and live a happy life no matter what happens with your kids. And this is important. Second, that you will save your kids from being ruined by the narc. His influence will destroy their lives. If we cannot pry them out of his grasp, their lives will be ruined. The narc is too far gone. We don't care about him. That your kids are not too far gone. Hopefully we can get them back. And then third, of course, that you will win your kids back. They will see the truth about the narc. You will build a healthy, close relationship with them. I am convinced that my strategies developed over years and with your input in the last probably 5-6 months I was developing this series, I think my strategies give you the best chance to turn your kids back to God and back to you. Okay, let me quickly now, I'm going to check in with the crew here and see what's going on. And then I'm going to go over briefly the 9 critical mistakes you have to avoid. And I have a video, of course, on each one of these. Let me see what's going on here. Who's going on here? People are joining. Very good. My daughter moved out. She couldn't take the physical issues. Yeah, okay, yeah. Yep. Hopefully we can get her back. My narc, who I'm divorced from, turned our daughter against me, but I held fast to the Lord's teaching. Okay, yep, good. Yep. They are, and again, many of you have found this, if one child is turned, very often other children will also turn against you. He wants them all to turn against you. There are cases when the narc really doesn't like one of your kids, never has. That kid, that causes its own damage, but that child he may not get, but he'll get as many as he possibly can. Yeah. My narc has both my boys, this person says. Yeah. Yep. Right. Awful. Awful, awful, awful. I'll turn over here and see what's going on. Yeah. Boy, Leandra, you're right. Legal system is another trauma, and the attorneys are oblivious to truly helping. They could care less. Even if you get a solid attorney, they don't care. Yeah. Right. Oh, attorney shows up an hour late to our first court hearing. Oh, for heaven's sake. Didn't even get the name correct. Oh, gosh. Yeah. I'm just telling you, can't stand attorneys. Can't stand them. especially these family law people. There are people I recommend locally that I think I know are good, but not a fan. You get the best one you can, and you go to war. It's very common you have to change attorneys because they're like this one, just a disaster. Yeah. Married 40 years to a pilot. Discarded. Yeah, that's how it happens. Yep. Yep. Family court lawyers have given him a favor. Oh, yeah. If you're married to a cop, if you're married to a first responder, if you're married to a pastor, oh, for heaven's sake, married to a pastor, a missionary, a dentist, a doctor, oh, for heaven's sake, they're practically God. Or in this case, an airline pilot, oh, you know what? They get favor in the courts. Absolutely. Shouldn't make a bit of difference. It does. That's why when you go to war, you do your best. You do your best. And now there are times, and I cover this in the Narcissist on MOMED, when you don't go to court. You don't. And I'll explain when you do go and principles and how you get through the process. And there are times when you don't go to court to fight for your kids. It just depends on the scenario. And I explain that very clearly. Yeah, Nicole says, Pastor. Oh, yeah. Pastors are beloved. They can be snakes. There are, of course, many wonderful, godly pastors, of course, men and women. But there are some that are snakes, and they're the worst because they're fooling everybody. Yep. And again, I'm working now, just developing. This will take some time to do, but a video series on the covert narc, and they're the worst of all. They deceive everyone, even your own family. They can certainly turn your kids. They're so good. They're so smooth. They're so incredibly deceptive. Magicians, evil magicians. So if that's your case, the overts are bad enough, but the coverts can really turn your kids and get away with it. She got a divorce. Good. Good for you, Tara. Good for you. Oh, he wants only one. He's chosen. He wants only one of the 4 kids. Yeah, this isn't too uncommon. They'll zero in. Now, they would like to get them all, but they're not stupid. They might realize that they're not going to get Sarah or Susie or Betty, but maybe Tim. You know what? And you know this is true. There are certain connections with certain children the narc has, and that's the kid he's going to go after. Oh, yeah. And he'll be relentless. Yeah. Yeah, covert narc pastor. Ugh, I've met him. I've come across them. Nasty. Oh, yeah. And that's why you lose the PR battle. Oh, for heaven's sake, this is classic. This is the church. My divorce was final in September, this dear lady says. I asked if I could sing in the worship team again and was told not yet. And she says, thoughts, question mark, question mark, question mark. I got one thought. Leave that church. I was in a stupid church. Leave that church. What's the matter with these people? That should make no difference. No. Now, there are times when someone's in serious sin where they have to be rehabilitated. This isn't the case here, especially if you divorced a narc. You shouldn't be removed from any place of service at any point in the process unless you decide, I need a break. Yeah, very commonly, you have to leave the church and you've got to start over. What is this probationary period when you did what was biblical and divorced the miserable dirtball narc? Those are my thoughts. Oh, my goodness. I hear these stories a lot, but it just makes me sick. Sick to my stomach. Another covert narc, former pastor. Yeah. Even a former pastor. Oh, people bow down to the former pastor. Yeah. The Bible's clear on this. I mean, there's going to be justice for all of us that sin, and we're all sinners, but those of us that don't repent. And the covert narc and the former pastor, there's a higher level of responsibility and accountability to the Lord. Yeah. Carrie says, why can the narc be so mean and then nice to me and I feel guilty? Oh, yeah, classic, Carrie. Classic narcdom here. And the coverts are brilliant at this. They're nice and sweet and very loving. It's like a light switch. When they turn that on, wow. And you're drawn to them. Women as well as male narcs can do this. And you're drawn to them. It's a game. Then they'll turn it off. And there's no good reason. They just switch it. And they're just mean to you. This is how they develop the addiction and the trauma bond in you. And they can actually make you feel guilty for them turning mean. Of course, they'll blame you. I was so nice. We were doing so well, Carrie. But all of a sudden you sneezed or rolled your eyes or burned the sausage or whatever, some stupid reason. It's ridiculous. And they'll twist, and then it's your fault. And they can make you believe it. It's not your fault, Carrie. It's their fault. Absolutely. Yeah, love bombing. This lady mentions love bombing. It's exactly right. Oh, yeah. Especially the coverts. Overts are good too, but coverts are masters at the love bombing. These dirtballs know exactly what you want and need. Now, they don't give it to you all the time because they don't love you, but they know. And so when they really want to win you over, have sex, have a good time, buy a car, whatever they're looking for, or just because they like the game, they'll love bomb you, and they love it when you respond. And they're winning and they have control because they know they're setting you up. They get what they want and then they jerk the rug. Yeah. In fact, that's why I wrote this book on the trauma bond. Where is that one? Yeah. I got too many books here. I can't even follow it. Codependent Hell. It's in here somewhere. Hang on. Yes, Codependent Hell. This is to break that trauma bond. They're masters, especially coverts, at developing this trauma bond. Overts too. And we're going to fix it with this book. All right. Let's keep going here. We're good on time. I'll get to these 9 mistakes here in a moment. This lady has a 4-month-old with him. Yeah, that's just a little tiny kid. Good news is most courts, depends on the state, you're gonna get more time with that child than he is. Good question here. Divorced a covert narc after 19 years. Life seems peaceful with him. Can I let my guard down now? No, 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 1,000 times no. This is classic narcdom. Now, he wants to lull you into complacency. Narcs are always narcs, and they don't, full-blown narcs never change. Listen to me, never change. Dumb counselors, dumb pastors, dumb people haven't had any training and haven't worked with narcs think they can actually change. Wrong. Now, someone with narcissistic tendencies, oh, by all means. I've worked with them for years. A full-blown narc? No. So you never let your guard down with a narc. You've been divorced 19 years. I don't care. He's waiting for you. You never soften. You're never his friend. Narcs like to have a harem, and they like to maintain contact with their exes. You don't have to do that. You're divorced. Whatever you have to put up with, I guess you have adult children by now. Okay, you put up with it, but you keep your heart back from that dirtball. He's still dangerous. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. If they're adult kids, how do we win them over? They won't contact me. Great question. This series is for you. I'm telling you right now. The Narcissist Unmom Me. You'll see principle after principle after principle to do your very best to get your kids to see the truth and respond to it and come back to the Lord and truly repent and build a relationship with you. It is not easy because they're gone. And adults, it's even more difficult because they're set in their ways. But that's why I wrote the series. It's for parents of kids of all ages. There's nothing quite like it on the market. Of course, it's not from Dr. Clark, so there's nothing quite like it. It's in your face, it's edgy, but it's solidly biblical, and I think it will help you. Just sent a gift. Okay, this is part of what moms especially do, and this is covered in the series. Now, it depends on the scenario, but most of the time, if you have lost your, I don't care how old your kids are, if you've lost your children and they hate your guts and they abuse you and they believe lies about you and they're just poking you and making you miserable, you don't send that kid anything. Listen to me. Not a gift. I don't care if it's their birthday. No birthday gift. No Christmas gift. No money. This is part of that pulling back and that emotional distancing. They will laugh their heads off. This kid who hates your guts, you don't mean to be. You're thinking, oh, they'll think I'm nice and I still love them. They already know you love them. They don't care. So you're going to be backing off. This series will help you do that. This video series I'm talking about, The Narcissist Unmom Me, you'll be backing off. You're not rude or offensive. You're simply backing off. Jesus did this. We see the example in the Gospels. He presented the truth to people. And you'll be doing that with your children. I'll show you how in this series. But when they don't respond to that, okay, what did Jesus do? Well, he kept following them down the road, begging them and pleading and saying, please, I'm Jesus. Won't you follow me? He didn't do that. He turned and he walked the other way. Everybody has a free will. So I want you to stop sending gifts. I want you to stop emailing. I want you to stop texting. That's chasing, and I don't want you to do that. I'll explain exactly why in the video series. You mean well. I was talking to Phil Dugas of Dugas Creative Marketing, my right-hand man, who runs this whole show, and just talking about this whole scenario. and how you've got to have the right plan of action, or you've never lost your kids before. We were discussing, and so you don't know what to do. That's what Dr. Clark is for. I'll tell you what to do and what not to do very clearly, and I think it will give you a great chance. It'll be empowering to you anyway, and you'll know you've done your best, but it gives you a golden opportunity to, in fact, shake your kids up and bring them to repentance. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I know. I need this series. I just don't have the money. It's not cheap. Now it's on sale until midnight tonight for $30 less. But I don't know what to tell you. You pray about this. There may be a family member or a friend. This is a ministry. Sandy and I have done this on occasion when the Lord directs us. He has blessed us in some ways financially. And so if we know people, we will ask what they need and we'll bless. Maybe the church, maybe a pastor that's supportive could help you with this. I'm just saying, God has the cattle on 1,000 hills. He has all the money in the universe. It's all his, and he can come through for you. Good question. What can I do if the other parent exposes children to sexually immoral things? And Norks will do this by giving them the internet and not monitoring. Exactly. And he has been in adultery himself. I am beside myself. I hear you. There's nothing you can do in terms of what happens in the other home. Now, if this is in your home, oh no, you will fight this tooth and nail. You will monitor the best way you can. I'm assuming they're in two separate homes here. But if you're not, you will shut it off. You will take the tablet away. You will not allow this in your home. However, and when you have the kids, of course, these things won't happen. Now your challenge is to, and you don't go near the narc. You would never ask the narc to stop doing these things. He'll laugh in your face and he'll love it because he's bothering you. He doesn't care what they watch. Well, this is damaging your children. So there's a way to train your children the best way you can to avoid those things. And you'll do your best. You'll use scripture and you'll be able to try to convince them the best way you can that this kind of freedom and what they're watching will destroy them. And there are consequences. Listen to this. If it comes to your attention that they have, and you'll tell your kids, I'm going to be clear with you. I have standards and I have boundaries here. And if it comes to my attention that you have accessed pornography and filthy, nasty things sexually, even when you're at your father's dumb home, there will be consequences when you come to my home. That may mean that they're not going to come to your home. So be it. If you find that out, you will apply consequences. Other things I think you'll find in this series to help you. But yeah, you cannot control what the other person does. There is no co-parenting with the narc of any kind. You never let the narc know that you're upset or that he's bothering you. Waste of time. Oh my goodness. My son abuses me. He's 4 years old. Yeah. Yeah. They can be turned at very young ages. The power, let's say that the narc could be, if it's a mom or a dad, they have incredible influence over a small child, a child really of any age. But again, I say, if you got a 4-year-old who's going to abuse you, going to mistreat you, going to disrespect you, going to disobey you, there will be consequences. Absolutely, there will be every single time. That is the way you turn a child. Eventually. You lose respect. You're going to get that respect back one way or the other. Yes, you are. Okay, we're looking around here. Dr. Clark is all over the place. Oh my goodness. Someone sent me $4,500 to get my mom's car so I can leave. I'm not kidding. 4 kids involved. Wow, look at that. See, that's what I'm talking about. We need to build a network of people in churches. And we go to a wonderful church, Bay Hope Church here in Tampa. And there is a care ministry, and there are people that give to that ministry, and we're some of them, and with their needs identified. And the church, this is the church's purview. It should be the church's arena, or individual people in the church helping people. The Bible says helping widows and orphans. It's not kidding when it says that. We are to do that. So it's embarrassing to get the word out. Look, I need money for this or for that, basic needs. One of Dr. Clark's books or video series. God's going to speak to somebody's heart. Go to your pastor, go to people, the ladies ministry leader, get the word out in a Bible study. It's people are waiting to help. You just have to get the word out. And they'll be blessed when they bless you. Because God has given people, extra resources, and that's to be used for the kingdom. Yeah. It's hard to ask, of course, but I think it's important. Okay, very good. I'm looking around. I'm gonna get to these 9 critical mistakes pretty soon. Just to run, just to let you know what I'm about here. But oh yeah, lied on sworn statements. They'll lie like a rug and they'll lie beautifully. Federal taxes, exam of disclosure. Oh yeah, oh yeah. The narc will lie, lie, lie. And here's the infuriating part. And most of you know this. They'll get away with it. It's incredible. I've seen this over and over again, especially when the narc is a man and the victim, the woman's on the other side. The narc gets away with murder, lies his head off, doesn't have to disclose things, doesn't have to provide documents. The court doesn't care. It can be a female judge. It's the craziest thing. Satan's in charge of that program too. I'm convinced of it, the whole dumb legal system. But the woman, oh, God forbid, if you don't get something in on time, you are just ripped to pieces. Seen that a million times. That's why you get the best attorney you can, and you're going to fight back. But it's classic. Nobody cares. They're cashing their paychecks, they're taking your money, and they don't care about you. You're looking for an attorney who is on your team and is a fighter and will go to war for you. Yep, this is it. I mentioned this in the book, Stockholm Syndrome. Absolutely. She can't even see what's going on. They can't. This is the point of this series, the Narcissist on Mommy, to help your kid over time see the truth. There's a lot of strategies here to help them see the truth, and it will begin to dawn on them. Yeah, when are the judges in the court going to wake up? Oh my goodness. These judges are also going to answer to God. I'm telling you. But it's hard to find a judge. I've seen many cases where you finally get the right judge, lady or man, and he seems to get it, and he understands your case. And guess what happens? He's replaced. He retires, or somehow the narc is able to shuffle things, and you have a new judge who doesn't get it. Oh, yeah. I know. Oh yeah, they don't show up on time. You'll be all ready for a court hearing, and it's canceled and put off over and over again. I know. Yeah. Stupid. Yeah. Okay, in the time we've got here, a few minutes left, let me go over the 9 critical mistakes you have to avoid. And the whole video series begins with these mistakes. There's a video for each one of these mistakes. I call them the do nots. And again, don't feel bad if you've made these mistakes, any one of you, because you don't know what you're doing. Nobody does. I haven't been divorced before, maybe, or I haven't had my kids turned against me. That's what Dr. Clark is for. This is the no judgment zone. The first do not go it alone. You've got to have a team. This is way too hard to do on your own. Number 2, at least one friend will make a difference. And of course, you've got God on your team. 2, do not keep your pain to yourself. This is ongoing trauma. You need someone, 1 or 2 people. It could be a Christian therapist too, but one close friend you can vent to. You have to catch up with all the trauma of losing your kids, and then you've got to keep up to date, keep cleaning your system. This is the worst kind of trauma. The third do not dwell on regrets. That's what Satan wants you to do. What has happened is not your fault. It is the narc's fault, and it is Satan's fault, and to a degree, it is your kid's fault. It is not your fault. 4, because you can always look back and say, oh, if I just would have done that, if I just would have seen this sooner, how could I have missed this? Don't dwell on regrets. Those just get in your way. We want to move forward from today. 4, do not try to co-parent with the narc. Worse than a waste of time. The narc wants you to try to co-parent. And the crazy kid who's rejected you wants you to try to co-parent. Waste of time. I'll show you how to handle that in the series. 5, do not let the narc know you are upset. Ever. Easier said than done. Don't let the narc know you're upset over the kid's rejection of you. That's what he's living for. You will show the narc indifference. The worst thing for a narc is indifference. Brick wall. Gray rock like you wouldn't believe. You are not bothered by what's happening. You have to take some acting lessons. You do that. I'm helping you in the series with emotional distance because you got to bring this. Your kid's job is to make you upset. So if you're upset and the kid knows it, he's winning. And he'll tell the narc and they can laugh their heads off. And the narc wants to know you're upset. You're not going to show it. If you've already shown it, okay, we're going to fix that. 6, this will make sense to you. Do not let your kid know that you are upset over his or her rejection of you. You're not going to let on. That's what your kid wants. They want you to be upset, the alienated kid. That's his mission for the narc. You're not going to give it to him. So when you pull back, and I'm going to show you just how to pull back and set boundaries, you're leaving your kid with the narc. and you're out of the triangulation, then the light can begin to dawn in your kid's foggy brain, and they can start to figure it out. The narc's going to be a narc. When you're out of the equation and they can't beat on you and have a great time humiliating you and ripping you to pieces, the narc's going to be a narc, and the kid will start to realize, oh, maybe mom has a point, or dad. Number 7, do not make excuses for your kid. Do not. The only way your child will change is by owning responsibility and choosing to make better choices from a very early age. Biblically, we are responsible for our choices, and your kid is too. So we're not letting your kid off the hook. 8, do not stuff your righteous anger at your child. Do not. Now, you're not going to share your anger with your child. We're not going to show them any emotion at all. But you've got the anger, and it needs to be expressed, and you're going to do that with certain people. You got to get it out of you. And number 9, do not chase your child. This is easier said than done. All these are easier said than done. I don't just say it. I'm going to show you exactly how to do these things and to avoid these mistakes. But the entire dynamic has changed when you stop chasing your child and walk the opposite way. And that's what I'm going to help you do. Again, you can get this series. Brand new. We've had a wonderful response to this series. Biggest response, as a matter of fact, we've ever had for any product I have ever created. We know we've hit a chord here. The Narcissist unmommed me. How to fight back and win your kids back. This is on my website, daviddclarkphd.com, Clark with an E, on sale. $30 off through midnight tonight, and then beginning tomorrow, it'll be a bit more, but still, it is a great value, I think. What moms and dads often do is they'll watch a series of mine or read a book, and then they'll want a phone advice session with me. I'm fine with that. If you want to connect with me personally, you can do that. Every text you send me, I answer myself. Every email you send me, I'm the only one that sees it, and I answer it myself. I have a staff, but they're for other things. I deal with you directly, so you're safe. It's anonymous. Okay, I'm going to answer a few more questions and interact here, and then we will call it a night. And we'll do the next live stream probably in a couple of weeks, and it'll be interaction the entire time. Okay. Yeah, get out, never go back ever. You're not kidding me. I'm not sure what you're responding to. Oh yeah. Ooh, very tempting to go back to the narc. Do not do it. Don't do it. I had a therapist from Focus on the Family who never helped our family and didn't know about NPD and said he did. Oh, I know. It's not just Focus. It's other Christian ministries. The vast majority of them, they're good people. They don't get it. They're operating on the assumption that there really aren't that many narcs in the world, and they're not that bad, and God can change them, and it's partly your fault too. You've got to find a therapist who gets it, and there aren't many that do. You want a Christian who knows Jesus and follows Jesus, but you have to have a therapist like me who understands the ins and outs and will get you, won't do marriage counseling because that's a waste of time, will get you out of that marriage and help you hang on to your kids. I did a lot of work back in the day with Focus. I love Focus. In their lanes, they're very good. This lane ain't one of them. It's not. And for most of them, it's not their lane. See what else we've got going in. Oh, Christina admits she's been chasing them for sure. I know. Christina, it's okay. Again, no regrets. You're going to be able to stop doing that. That's the most natural thing in the world. When someone precious to you has rejected you and you chase them, what happens is they keep going the other way. Psychological, biblical truth. When you stop chasing, you've had enough, and you start going the other way, it changes everything. And all of a sudden, they're not sure what to do. They can't attack you. You're out. You're done. They can start coming your way and starting to see things. Absolutely. Yeah. I want to get away so bad, Desiree. You can get away. I'm telling you right now, my dear, you can get away. My whole ministry is based on getting you away from the narcissist, protecting your relationship with your kids if you have them, getting strong enough, going through a process. You don't leave today because you want to and because you know it's right. You got to be ready emotionally and physically and financially. Got to get your kids ready. We have the resources for you. We absolutely do. God has blessed us with the resources, with the ideas, many from you that are going to be helpful to get you out. Okay, 8:40. We're going to stop right here. Thank you so much for being involved. We appreciate you very much. And again, The Narcissist Unmom Me, along with all my materials on the website, daviddclarkphd.com. On sale until midnight tonight. but it will be on the site, and we think it's going to make a massive difference in the lives of many moms and many dads who've had their kids turned against them. So thanks for being involved, and we will see you at the next live stream. Bill Douglas is going to cut you off now.